The characteristics of a good pilot would come down to being able to make decisions quickly. I used to be indecisive, but now I'm not so sure. You've got to be able to decide to make decisions in a second. In flight, on the ground, but particularly in flight, you need to be able to make a command decision and go with it. And it's got to be the right decision. You only get one go at it generally. So to make a good pilot, I would put down decision making, being assertive, being very much aware of your surroundings. Situational awareness is paramount. Airmanship is a big one.
Every year, thousands of students across the country begin their flight training. Whether it's overcoming fear, a career in aviation, or the enjoyment of flying, students start by enrolling in flight school. On the Sunshine Coast, Go Fly Aviation, operated by Damien Wills and his team of instructors, work hard, have fun, and teach everyday people to fulfil their dream of taking flight.
You know, one of the main things that I got into, or the idea of actually teaching how to fly, was actually from my wife. She said, "You'd be a good teacher." And I was like, "No, I wouldn't." She goes, "No, you would be." And I went, "Okay, well, I'll put my money where my mouth is and give it a go." So I did my PPL exam, as you know, and it didn't turn out so well. Going into the exam, all the practice that I had done, I was, on average, I was hitting about 98%. So how I went from something really high to a complete failure is beyond me. And that rattled me as well.
Come on, checks on the way there.
Just overflown 1,500. We're now descending on the dead side of runway 12.
Instructor ratings can be difficult. You've got to learn to be able to fly the plane accurately and be able to teach someone at the same time.
It is a bit fluffy, so don't try and over-control the ailerons. It's nice and good, easy and gentle on the controls. Yeah.
What you say is got to be what the students see. So if your flying isn't accurate, it makes it very hard to get through an instructor course.
Watch your height. No, power first. I will freaking castrate you. Yeah, but the students watching you. Yep. The crosswind call for 1-2. Right across, yep. Yep, give it a call.
Quarter traffic swing 8668, joining crosswind 12, quarter.
I've got quite a few hundred hours of left-hand seat flying, so my brain's programmed, which hands to do what, and now I've mirror imaged that. And that was initially the challenging thing, just focusing on telling my brain and telling my right hand, that's not controlling power, it's controlling, the controls. And the left hand's controlling power. Just actively telling myself that. That's been the most challenging thing, just the switching of the seats.
Stephen has been sitting his exams. The pass rate is high in aviation as students need to have a firm understanding of theory.
I'm not sure. I thought it was 70%. As Scott said, it's 80.
I think it's 80. I think they're all 80.
Unfortunately, his pass mark isn't high enough and he has failed.
There can be elements of a question that'll be right, but you've got to read the question. You've got to read the question really, really well, and then you've got to reread the question.
Later in the week, he takes the test again. Scott is marking the results.
30, 24 divided by 30.
Oh, yes!
It's a pass, just. He'll need to build on his basic understanding throughout his life as a pilot. For all pilots, learning is a lifelong pursuit.
Now all of my theory is out of the way and I can just concentrate on flying and actually getting better at becoming a pilot.
Okay.
Jackson is sitting his flight test. At 16 years of age, he may well have his pilot certificate before he has his driver's licence.
Jackson's a school student, wants to be an airline pilot when he leaves school, like many of our school students here. So yeah, he'll be probably learning. He was learning once a week or once every 2 weeks. So he's during school holidays. He went for his flight test.
Climb traffic staying 8668, rolling runway 12, climb drop. For the part east.
He appears quite nervous before his exam, and if he can't control his nerves, then he might make mistakes during the test.
Off the ground way too early. Don't get off the ground till 60 knots, okay? Okay.
Okay, establish right down runway 16, Lander.
Can I give you a call? Yes. Line traffic filling 8668, joining downwind runway 12, Clyndra.
Being able to aviate, navigate and communicate are essential skills for pilots to develop.
And how the helicopter visual.
Pilots also spend a lifetime developing heightened situational awareness to decipher how far away other aircraft are and where they are in relation to the airfield.
Can't cut in before him. What are you doing?
He was quite nervous on the day, which he'll admit. Didn't pass, which is pretty common. Almost half the students don't pass first time, and that's generally due to nerves on the day. They just, even if I've trained them, they know it's a flight test and they just make silly little mistakes. So, you know, I can't just push it through and go, yeah, I know it was just nerves. They've really got to perform on the, doesn't mean they've got to be perfect, but they still have to perform on the day of the flight test. So he obviously was pretty disappointed.
Okay, look, overall it was pretty good. Your amateur's pretty good. Unfortunately, not going to pass you. Okay. Just a couple of things. I think nerves got to you. Yeah. Personally, don't be dejected. You learn more by your failures in flying than you do by your successes, particularly with flight tests. So there's a really good opportunity to learn. I don't think it's lacking in time. It's a few little things we'll talk about on the board when we get back. But yeah, there's the little things. The first thing, the major one today was you landed on your practice force landing.
Remaining clear of the 130
for the tailwind. Look at the wind.
At 400 feet.
Which way is the wind coming from now? Yeah. Okay, so we're landing with a 17 knot tailwind. Yeah.
I tell them I failed my first flight test, my first pilot certificate. I failed my cross-country training, first test, passed my commercial and failed my instrument rating. So, you know, failure is a part of the learning process. And I learnt more by failing those times and became a better pilot than by passing. So I tell students, look at the big picture. Failing is a good thing. You know, you're going to become a better pilot because of it.
Next time on Taking Flight, Jeremy and Damien receive bad news.
We've still gone through. I have.
While Stephen is hitting a wall with circuits.
To some degree, but it's also very challenging.
And Jeremy weighs up his future in aviation.
Way up.